No one crossed into Terran space. It was not just a warning. It was a rule that every civilization in the galaxy followed without question. Old records, broken signals, and ancient stories all said the same thing: stay away from that region of space. There were no trade routes near it. No colonies. No stations. Even pirates avoided it. On every star map, the area was marked with a dark border and a single line: Terran space forbidden. For thousands of years, no one dared to ask why. But the Empire was different. The Empire was the strongest force in the galaxy. It had thousands of systems under its control, massive fleets, and technology far beyond most civilizations. It believed in power, not fear. And to them, Terran space was just an old story that no longer mattered. In the Grand Command Hall, high above their capital world, the leaders of the Empire gathered. The room was silent as a large holographic map floated in the center. One part of the map was dark, Terran space. The Emperor stood at the front, watching it carefully. "This," he said in a calm but firm voice, "is the only region we do not control." A commander stepped forward. His name was Darius. He was known for his loyalty and strength. "My Emperor," Darius said, "there must be a reason no one has claimed it. The warnings are everywhere. Even the oldest records say to stay away." The Emperor turned slightly, his eyes cold. "Old records are written by weak minds," he replied. "We are not weak." The other commanders stayed quiet. Some of them felt uneasy, but no one spoke. The Empire had never been defeated. It had crushed every enemy, taken every system, and expanded without limits. To them, fear was something for lesser beings. Another officer, Lauren, stepped forward. "We have sent long-range scans," he said. "The region is strange. Signals behave differently. Some probes never returned." The Emperor smiled slightly. "Then we will send more than probes," he said. "We will send a fleet." A low murmur spread across the room. Darius hesitated. "You want to enter Terran space?" "Yes," the Emperor said. "We'll claim it. Whatever is inside belongs to the Empire now." "But, my Emperor," Darius continued carefully, "what if the stories are true?" The Emperor stepped closer, his voice now sharper. "Stories do not win wars. Power does." The room fell silent again. And just like that, the decision was made. Days later, the largest fleet ever assembled by the Empire gathered at the edge of Terran space. Thousands of warships filled the darkness. Massive carriers, heavy destroyers, and advanced fighters waited in perfect formation. Weapons were ready. Shields were active. Everything was prepared. At the front of the fleet, Darius stood on the command deck of the flagship. He looked out at the dark line in space. It didn't look special. There were no storms, no visible danger, just empty space. But something felt wrong. "Fleet status?" he asked. "All systems ready," a crew member replied. "Weapons charged. Navigation locked." Darius nodded slowly. He opened a communication channel to all ships. "This is Commander Darius," he said. "We are about to enter Terran space. Stay alert. Follow all commands. Do not act without orders." His voice was steady, but inside, he felt a small sense of doubt. Behind him, Lauren spoke quietly. "Do you feel it?" Lauren asked. "Feel what?" Darius replied. "Like we are not supposed to be here." Darius didn't answer right away. He looked at the boundary again. Then he said, "We are the Empire. There is no place we are not supposed to be." Lauren didn't argue, but he didn't look convinced. The order came from the Emperor himself. "Move forward." Darius took a deep breath. "All ships," he said, "advance." The fleet began to move. Slowly, carefully, the first ships crossed the invisible line. Nothing happened. No explosions. No enemies. No sudden danger. Everything seemed normal. Some of the crew members relaxed. "See," one of them said. "Just empty space." But Darius kept watching his screen. Something was off. "Check sensors again," he ordered. "They are working," the crew member replied. "No threats detected." "Then why does it feel so quiet?" Darius said. No one answered. The fleet moved deeper into Terran space. Minutes passed, then hours. Still nothing. But the silence grew heavier. Even the stars looked different. Dimmer, colder. Lauren stepped closer to Darius. "This isn't normal," he said. "Space shouldn't feel like this." Before Darius could reply, a sudden alert sounded. "Commander," a crew member shouted. "We lost contact with one of the ships." Darius turned quickly. "Which ship?" "The one at the rear of the formation," the crew member said. "It just disappeared." "What do you mean disappeared?" Darius asked sharply. "There was no explosion. No signal. It's just gone." The room went silent. Darius felt his chest tighten. "Scan the area," he ordered. "We are scanning," the crew member replied. "There's nothing there." Lauren whispered, "This is just the beginning." Darius didn't want to believe that. But deep down, he knew something was very wrong. The Empire had crossed into Terran space. And for the first time in its history, it had no idea what was waiting for it. The missing ship was not reported to the Emperor. Commander Darius made that decision himself. "It is only one ship," he said firmly. "Do not spread fear over a small issue." The officers on the command deck nodded, but their faces showed worry. Losing a warship without any signal, without any explosion, it was not normal. It was not something that could be explained easily. But, in the Empire, doubt was dangerous. Darius stood straight, his voice strong again. "Maintain formation. Increase scan range. We continue forward." The fleet obeyed. Thousands of ships moved deeper into Terran space, their engines glowing softly in the darkness. Everything looked calm, but no one felt calm anymore. Hours passed. More strange things began to happen. Long-range sensors started giving unclear readings. Some signals repeated again and again, like echoes. Others appeared and disappeared without reason. "Commander," a technician said, "we are detecting energy spikes, but they vanish before we can track them." "Natural interference," another officer said quickly. "This region must have unusual space conditions." Darius wanted to believe that. "Yes," he said. "That is the most logical answer." But Lauren was not convinced. "Energy does not behave like this," Lauren said quietly. "This feels controlled." Darius looked at him, slightly annoyed. "You are letting fear guide your thoughts." "I am letting facts guide me," Lauren replied. Before Darius could answer, another alert appeared. "Commander," the technician shouted again. "We lost another ship." This time, the room did not stay calm. "Where?" Darius asked quickly. "Left side of the formation," the technician said. "Same as before, no signal, no damage, just gone." Darius clenched his fists. "Expand scans. I want full coverage of the area." "We are trying," the technician said nervously. "But something is blocking our sensors." "Blocking?" Darius repeated. "Yes, that's like something is interfering with every system." The silence returned, but now it felt heavier. On another part of the fleet, smaller ships began reporting problems. Navigation systems started drifting. Ships moved slightly off course, without any command. Some crews reported hearing strange sounds in their communication channels, low whispers, static, or broken voices. "Command, do you hear that?" one pilot asked over the radio. "Hear what?" came the reply. There was a pause. "Nothing," the pilot said slowly. It stopped. Back on the flagship, Darius tried to stay in control. "All units," he ordered. "Tighten formation. No ship moves alone. Stay close and follow commands." "Yes, Commander," multiple voices replied. But even as the fleet adjusted, another ship vanished. Then another. This time, panic began to spread. "Commander, this is not random," a crew member said. "Ships are disappearing one by one." Silence. Darius snapped. "We do not panic." But his voice was no longer as strong as before. Lauren stepped closer again. "We should stop," he said. "Turn back. Report to the Emperor. This is not something we understand." Darius shook his head. "If we turn back now, we show weakness," he said. "The Empire does not retreat from shadows." "These are not shadows," Lauren said. "This is something real." Darius looked at the dark space outside. Still nothing could be seen. No enemy ships. No weapons. No visible threat. And yet, they were losing ships. Suddenly, the lights on the command deck flickered. For a moment, everything went dark. Then the systems came back online. Report. Darius shouted. Power fluctuation across the fleet, a technician said. We lost full control for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Darius repeated. Yes. Darius turned to the main screen. Status of all ships. The technician checked quickly, then froze. Commander? What is it? We lost 5 ships during the blackout. The words hit the room like a shockwave. 5. Darius said slowly. Yes, all at the same time. No one spoke after that. Even Darius could not deny it anymore. This was not natural. This was not an accident. Something was happening. Something they could not see. A message request suddenly appeared on the screen. Commander, the technician said, we are receiving a signal. Darius stepped forward quickly. From where? The technician hesitated. Unknown. Put it on screen. The screen flickered. Static filled the air. Then, silence. No message. No voice. Just a blank signal. What is this? Darius asked. We don't know, the technician replied. It's like someone is trying to communicate, but not fully. Lauren stared at the screen. They are watching us, he said quietly. Darius didn't respond, because for the first time, he believed it too. Far behind the fleet, in the dark and silent space they had already crossed, something moved. It was not fast. It was not loud. But it was there. And it was following them. Back on the flagship, Darius gave his next order. All ships, prepare weapons. Target what? Someone asked. Darius looked into the empty darkness. Anything. The Empire had entered Terran space with confidence. Now that confidence was starting to crack. But still, they refused to turn back. The fleet moved deeper into Terran space. No one spoke unless necessary. The earlier confidence was gone. Even the smallest sound inside the ships felt loud now. Every officer, every soldier, every pilot was watching their screens, waiting for the next alert. Because now they knew something was wrong. Very wrong. Commander Darius stood still on the command deck. His eyes were fixed on the main display. He was trying to stay calm, trying to think clearly, but his mind was full of questions. What was taking their ships? Why couldn't they see anything? And most important, why did it feel like they were being watched? Report, he said quietly. Fleet is holding formation, a crew member replied. Weapons ready. Shield stable. Any new signals? The technician shook his head. No clear signals. Just noise. Noise. Yes, the technician said. Random data, broken waves, echoes. It doesn't make sense. Darius frowned. Clean it up, he said. Filter everything. We already tried, the technician answered. It keeps coming back. On another ship, a young pilot sat alone in his cockpit. His hands were tight on the controls. He kept checking his radar again and again. Nothing. But he didn't feel safe. Command, he said into his comm. I think something is moving near me. There was a pause. Your sensors show nothing, the reply came. I know, the pilot said, his voice shaking slightly. But I can feel it, like something is right there. Stay in formation, the voice ordered. Do not break position. Yes, the pilot said, but his eyes kept moving, searching, waiting. Back on the flagship, another alert appeared. Commander, the technician said, we are losing signal strength across the fleet. How much? Darius asked. About 20% and dropping. Stabilize it. We are trying, the technician said, but it's not a system failure. Something is interfering. Lauren crossed his arms. It's like the space itself doesn't want us here, he said. Darius didn't reply, because now it felt true. Minutes passed. Then something even worse happened. Commander, the technician shouted. We lost contact with multiple ships. How many? Darius asked quickly. The technician checked, then looked up slowly. 10. The number hit the room hard. 10 ships. Darius said. Yes, all at once. No signal? Nothing. Darius stepped closer to the screen. Show me their last positions. The display changed. Small markers showed where the ships had been. But now, those markers were gone. Empty space. Like they had never been there. The silence grew heavier. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the air felt cold. Suddenly, a strange sound came through the speakers. A low, broken noise. Like a voice, but not clear. Everyone froze. "What is that?" Darius asked. The technician looked confused. "It's coming through all channels." The sound grew louder. "Hello." The word was weak, distorted, almost lost. "Is that a voice?" someone whispered. "Can you hear?" Then it cut off. Silence again. Darius felt a chill run through him. "Trace that signal," he ordered. "We are trying," the technician said. "But it's coming from everywhere." "Everywhere." Darius repeated. "Yes, it's not from one location." Lauren spoke quietly. "That's not communication," he said. "That's something else." On several ships, crew members heard the same voice. Some thought it was a system error. Some thought it was a lost signal. But a few felt something worse. Because the voice didn't sound like it was calling for help. It sounded like it was testing them. Another blackout hit the fleet. This time longer. 5 seconds. Everything went dark. No lights. No screens. No control. In that moment of darkness, some crew members swore they saw shapes outside their ships. Moving. Watching. Waiting. When the systems came back online, panic spread instantly. "Commander," the technician shouted. "We lost more ships." "How many?" Darius demanded. 15. Darius closed his eyes for a moment. 15 ships, gone in 5 seconds. No battle. No enemy. Just gone. "We can't stay here," Lauren said firmly. "This is not a fight. This is a trap." Darius opened his eyes again. His voice was lower now. "Prepare a report for the Emperor." Lauren looked surprised. "Are we turning back?" Darius didn't answer right away. He looked at the dark space ahead. Then behind. Then at the fleet slowly getting smaller. "Not yet," he said. Lauren stared at him. "We are losing ships every minute." "I know," Darius said sharply. The room went quiet again. Darius took a breath. "If we leave now without understanding this, we will return blind," he said. "And next time, we will lose even more." Lauren shook his head slightly. "Next time," he said. "There may not be a next time." Suddenly, the main screen changed. A single point of light appeared ahead. Everyone looked at it. It was small. Still. Not moving. "What is that?" Darius asked. The technician scanned it. "Unknown object," he said. "No match in our database." Distance. Very close that just appeared. Darius stared at it. After all the silence, after all the fear, finally, something was there. Something they could see. Lauren spoke softly. "We found it." Darius didn't reply. Because deep down, he felt the truth. They didn't find it. It was waiting for them. The fleet did not move. After the message, after the ship vanished, no one gave an order. Thousands of warships remained frozen in space, like they were afraid to breathe. Commander Darius stood still, staring at the empty darkness where the strange ship had disappeared. "You were warned." The words kept repeating in his mind. Lauren broke the silence. "We need to leave," he said. "Right now." Darius didn't answer. His eyes stayed on the screen. Another officer spoke, voice shaking. "Commander, ships are still disappearing." Darius turned sharply. "How many now?" "3 more, just now." "No signal?" "Nothing." Darius clenched his jaw. This was no longer something they could ignore. "All ships," Darius said, opening a fleet-wide channel. "Prepare for full retreat." The words shocked everyone. The Empire retreating? It had never happened before. But before anyone could respond, "Commander," the technician shouted. "Something is happening." The main screen flickered. Then a shape appeared. Not far ahead. The same ship. The small, silent Terran vessel. But now it was not alone. More shapes began to appear. 1. Then 2. Then 10. Within seconds, dozens of identical ships filled the space in front of the fleet. They appeared without warning. No warp, no signal. They were just there. Where did they come from? Someone asked. No idea, the technician replied. They just appeared. The fleet reacted immediately. Weapons powered up across all ships. Targeting systems locked. Fear turned into action. Commander, we are surrounded, an officer shouted. Darius stepped forward. All ships, hold fire. The order surprised everyone. Commander? Lauren said. Why are we waiting? Darius looked at the silent Terran ships. They attacked us only after we fired, he said. We will not repeat that mistake. Lauren didn't argue, but his eyes showed doubt. The Terran ships did not move. They floated in perfect stillness. No lights. No weapons visible. No communication. Just watching. Then suddenly, one Imperial ship fired. A single shot. No order was given. No permission. But fear had taken control. The energy beam shot forward and hit one of the Terran ships. For a moment, everything froze. Darius turned in anger. Who fired that shot? But it was too late. The Terran ships reacted. Not all at once. Just one. A single ship moved forward slightly. Then it fired. No bright beam. No loud sound. Just a thin line of light. It touched an Imperial destroyer. And the destroyer disappeared. Not exploded. Not damaged. Gone. Like it had never existed. Silence hit the fleet. Deep. Heavy. Unreal. Commander, the technician whispered, we lost the ship instantly. Darius stared at the empty space. What kind of weapon is that? Someone said. No one had an answer. Then another Terran ship fired. Another Imperial ship vanished. Then another. And another. Each attack was perfect. Precise. No wasted movement. No missed shots. Return fire, an officer shouted. Before Darius could stop them, multiple ships opened fire. Hundreds of energy beams filled the darkness, striking the Terran ships. But nothing happened. No damage. No reaction. The Terran ships remained untouched. It's useless, the gunner yelled. We can't hit them. Darius raised his voice. Cease fire. Cease fire now. Slowly, the shooting stopped. But the damage was done. The Terran ships increased their attack. Now, multiple ships fired at once. Each shot removed an Imperial ship from existence. No explosions. No debris. Just empty space. Panic spread across the fleet. We're being destroyed. We can't fight this. Shields are useless. Voices filled the communication channels. Fear had taken over completely. Retreat. Darius shouted. All ships, retreat immediately. This time, no one questioned the order. The fleet turned. Engines powered up. Ships began to move away from the Terran formation. But something was wrong. Commander, the technician said. Navigation systems are failing. What? Darius asked. We can't lock a course. Space coordinates are shifting. Shifting. Lauren repeated. Yes, that's like space itself is changing. Several ships tried to jump to faster-than-light travel. None succeeded. They can't escape, the technician said. Every jump is failing. Darius felt his chest tighten. We're trapped. Behind them, the Terran ships followed. Not chasing. Not rushing. Just staying close. Like hunters who knew their prey, had nowhere to go. Another Imperial ship vanished. Then another. The fleet was shrinking fast. Too fast. Darius slammed his fist against the control panel. This is not a battle, he said. No, Lauren replied quietly. It's not. The main screen flickered again. A message appeared. Simple. Cold. Final. You were given a warning. Darius looked at it. For the first time since entering Terran space, he understood. This was never meant to be a fight. This was punishment. The fleet kept trying to escape, but every path was blocked. Every system was failing. Every second, more ships were lost. And far ahead, beyond the Terran ships, something massive waited. Hidden. Silent. Watching everything. The small ships were not the real threat. They were just the beginning. As another Imperial warship vanished without a trace, Darius spoke softly. We should have never come here. And Terran space remained silent, unforgiving, and completely in control. The fleet was breaking apart. Ships were no longer holding formation. Some tried to turn back. Some moved in random directions. Others just stayed still, as if their crews had lost the will to act. Fear had taken control. Commander Darius stood on the command deck, watching the numbers drop again and again. "Report," he said, his voice heavy. The technician answered slowly. "We have lost over 100 ships." Darius closed his eyes for a moment. 100.
Gone.
Without a fight. Outside, the Terran ships continued their silent attack. No loud weapons. No explosions. Just thin lines of light. And then nothing. Each shot erased a ship completely. No debris. No signal. No survivors. "Commander," Lauren said quietly, "their weapons, they are not destroying our ships." Darius looked at him. "What do you mean?"
They are removing them, Lauren said.
"Like they are deleting them from space." Darius frowned. "That's impossible." "I know," Lauren replied. "But look at the data. There is no energy release. No damage. The ships just disappear." Darius turned back to the screen. He didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was clear. "Analyze the attack," Darius ordered. "We are trying," the technician said. "But we can't understand it. Try harder." The technician worked quickly. After a few seconds, he spoke again. "Commander, the moment the beam touches a ship, all signals stop at the same time." "All signals?" Darius asked.
"Yes."
"Power, life signs, structure, everything goes to zero instantly." "That's not possible," Darius said again. But now even he knew it was. Another ship vanished. Then another. The Terran ships did not rush. They did not panic. They attacked slowly, calmly, like they had all the time in the galaxy. "Return fire," an officer shouted again. Several Imperial ships fired their strongest weapons. Heavy cannons, missiles, energy blasts, all aimed at the Terran formation. The attacks hit, again and again. But nothing changed. No damage. No reaction. The Terran ships didn't even move. "It's like they're not there," the gunner yelled. "Or we're not hitting them properly," another officer said. Darius shook his head. "No, we are hitting them," he said. "But it doesn't matter." Lauren stepped forward. "This is not a normal battle," he said. "Their technology is far beyond ours." "How far?" Darius asked. Lauren looked at the screen. "So far that we can't even understand it." The words hung in the air. For the first time, the Empire was facing something greater than itself. Suddenly, another alert appeared. "Commander," the technician said, "we are detecting something new." "What is it?" "Large energy signatures, very large." "Where?" The technician pointed to the screen. "Behind the Terran ships." The display zoomed out, and what they saw made everyone freeze. In the distance, something massive was forming. Not ships. Not a fleet. Something else. Huge shapes. Slowly moving. Almost invisible in the darkness. "What are those?" someone whispered. "No idea," the technician said. "But they are enormous." Darius stared at the shapes. "How many?" "We can't count them properly," the technician replied. "They are too big." Lauren's voice was low. "These are not patrol ships," he said. Darius nodded slowly. "No, they are not." The small Terran ships stopped attacking. For a moment, everything became still again. No shots. No movement. Just silence. "Why did they stop?" an officer asked. No one answered. Because they all felt it. Something worse was coming. Then the large shapes began to move forward. Slow. Heavy. Unstoppable. "Commander," the technician said, "those objects are locking onto us." "How many targets?" Darius asked. "All of us." Panic returned instantly. "They are targeting the entire fleet. We can't escape. What do we do?" Darius raised his voice. "Hold your positions." But even he knew the truth. There was nothing they could do. One of the massive shapes fired. It was not a beam. Not a missile. It was something else. A wave. A silent wave of energy that spread across space. It passed through the fleet. Through every ship. through everything. For a second, nothing happened. Then, ships started disappearing. Not one by one. Not in small numbers. Entire groups. Gone at the same time. "Commander," the technician shouted. "We're losing ships across the entire fleet." "How many?" Darius demanded. "Hundreds." Darius felt the ground shake under his feet. Hundreds of ships, gone in one attack. "That's not a weapon," Lauren said quietly. Darius looked at him. "Then what is it?" Lauren took a slow breath. "That's control." The fleet was no longer fighting. It was being erased. The Terran ships remained still, watching, waiting, like they were only there to guide the process. Another wave came. More ships vanished. The fleet was now less than half its original size. Darius looked at the screen, at the empty spaces where his ships once were, at the massive shapes moving closer, at the silent Terran ships that could not be touched. His voice was barely a whisper. "We are nothing to them." Lauren didn't reply, because there was nothing left to say. The Empire had come with power, with pride, with arrogance. But now, they were facing something beyond war, beyond technology, beyond understanding. And Terran space was only just beginning to show its true strength. The fleet was no longer in control. Ships moved, but not with purpose. Commands were given, but systems did not respond correctly. Navigation screens showed changing paths, shifting stars, and broken coordinates. It was like space itself had turned against them. Commander Darius stood frozen, staring at the main display. The map no longer made sense. The positions of their own ships changed every second. "Fix the coordinates," he ordered. "We can't," the technician replied quickly. "Every time we lock a position, it changes again." "That's impossible," Darius said. "Yes," the technician answered, his voice shaking, "but it's happening." Outside, the massive Terran structures moved closer. They were no longer distant shapes. Now their size could be seen clearly. They were enormous, larger than any ship the Empire had ever built. Their surfaces were smooth, dark, and almost invisible against the void. No weapons could be seen, but their presence alone felt heavy, powerful. "They are surrounding us," Lauren said quietly. Darius looked again. He was right. The giant structures were not just moving forward. They were forming a circle, a perfect, controlled circle around the Imperial fleet. "We need to break through," an officer said. "Focus all fire on one point." Darius nodded. "All ships, target the nearest structure. Full power. Fire together." The fleet responded. Every remaining ship turned its weapons toward one of the massive Terran objects. Energy built up. Weapons charged. Then, fire. A storm of attacks filled the darkness. Beams, missiles, and blasts struck the target again and again. For a moment, it looked like something might happen. But then, the energy faded, and the structure remained untouched. Not a single mark. "It's useless," someone whispered. Darius felt his chest tighten. They were attacking with everything they had. And it meant nothing. "Commander," the technician said, "we are detecting something new." "What now?" Darius asked. "There are energy fields forming around us." "Fields?" "Yes, invisible barriers." Darius turned to the screen. Slowly, lines appeared around the fleet. A sphere. A massive sphere of energy, trapping them inside. "We are inside a containment zone," the technician said. "Can we break it?" Darius asked. "We don't know how." Lauren spoke in a low voice. "This is not a battlefield," he said again. "This is a system." Darius looked at him. "A system?" "Yes," Lauren said. "Everything here is controlled. The ships, the structures, the space itself, it's all part of one design." Darius looked back at the screen, at the circle, at the barriers, at the way everything moved perfectly. "It's a trap," he said slowly. At that moment, a new signal appeared, stronger than before. "Clear." "Commander," the technician said, "we are receiving a data stream." "Display it." The screen changed. Strange symbols filled the display. Data moved quickly, too fast to understand. "We are trying to translate it," the technician said. After a few seconds, Some of the symbols turned into readable text, fragments, broken sentences, but enough to understand. Terran defense grid active. Foreign fleet detected. Containment protocol engaged. Threat level minimal. The last line hit the room hard. Minimal, an officer said. They think we are minimal? Darius didn't react. He kept reading. More text appeared. Automated response initiated. Erasure sequence in progress. Erasure, Lauren repeated. Darius looked at him. They are not fighting us, Lauren said. They are cleaning us. Silence filled the room again.
Heavy.
Final. Another wave passed through the fleet. More ships disappeared. No resistance. No delay. Commander, the technician shouted. We are losing control of more systems. What systems? Weapons, shields, engines. One by one, systems went offline. Ships became powerless. Floating targets. Darius felt something he had never felt before. Helplessness. All ships, he said slowly. Report status. The responses came in. Engines offline. Weapons down. Shields failing. We can't move. The Empire's fleet was no longer a fleet. It was a group of helpless ships, trapped inside a cage. Outside, the Terran structures completed their circle. The barrier became stronger. No signal could pass through. No ship could escape. We are completely sealed, the technician said. Darius nodded slowly. Yes. Lauren looked at him. We were never meant to win this, he said. Darius didn't argue, because now it was clear. The Empire had not entered enemy territory. They had entered a controlled zone, a forbidden zone, a place designed to stop anything that came inside. The Emperor had called it a myth, a story,
a lie. But now,
the truth was undeniable. Terran space was not empty. It was not abandoned. It was not weak. It was protected. Perfectly. Completely. And the Empire had walked straight into its center. Another ship vanished. Then another. Darius looked at the screen one last time. At the broken fleet. At the massive structures. At the barrier that held them. His voice was quiet. We were never invading. Lauren finished the sentence. We were being allowed in. And now, there was no way out. The Imperial fleet drifted inside the containment field. Ships could no longer move freely. Engines still worked in some ships, but they responded slowly, like they were under heavy pressure. Every system felt weaker. Every command felt delayed. It was as if the fleet was being held in place by an unseen force. Commander Darius stood silently on the command deck. The room was quiet. Too quiet. No alarms. No movement. Just a slow, constant feeling of pressure. We are being studied, Lauren said quietly. Darius turned to him. Studied by who? Lauren looked at the screen. The Terrans. Darius frowned. You still think humans are alive? Lauren nodded slowly. Not just alive. Present. But there are no ships, Darius said. No soldiers. No cities. No signals. That's because we are not meant to see them, Lauren replied. Darius shook his head. That makes no sense. At that moment, the technician spoke. Commander, we have something. What is it? Darius asked. We recovered old data, the technician said. It was hidden inside the signal we received earlier. Show me. The screen changed again. More symbols appeared, but this time they were clearer. Translated. Terran species record. Origin Earth. Darius leaned forward. Earth. Lauren's eyes widened slightly. Yes, that's where they came from. The data continued. Species human. Status active. Classification unknown. Highly advanced. Darius stared at the words. Humans, he repeated slowly. They're real, Lauren said. The data kept scrolling. Early history. Planet-based civilization. Conflict frequency. Extremely high. Survival rate. Low. Until adaptation phase. What does that mean? Darius asked. Lauren read carefully. It means they fought a lot. The screen continued. Terran expansion history. Rapid growth, unstable environment. Multiple global conflicts. High innovation rate under pressure. Darius folded his arms. So they fought each other and survived. Yes, Lauren said. More data appeared. Isolation protocol. Initiated. Reason. Prevent external conflict. Darius frowned. They isolated themselves? Lauren nodded. Not because they were weak, he said. Because they were dangerous. The words hit the room heavily. Dangerous. Not weak. The data continued. Terran military doctrine. Adaptation over numbers. Survival over expansion. Efficiency over size. Darius looked at the display. They don't fight like us, he said. No, Lauren replied. They fight to win, not to show strength. More lines appeared. First contact record. Multiple civilizations attempted invasion. Outcome. Complete failure. Darius straightened. Complete failure? Yes, Lauren said. They defeated them. The technician spoke again. Commander, this section is important. The screen highlighted a warning. Terran Defense Protocol. If threat detected within Terran space. Escalation begins immediately. Final response. Total elimination. Silence filled the room. Darius looked at Lauren. So, they let us in knowing what would happen. Lauren nodded. Yes. Darius looked back at the screen. And now they are ending it. Outside, the massive Terran structures remained in position. The containment field stayed active. The Imperial fleet was completely trapped. Then, another message appeared. This one was different.
Clearer.
Stronger. Commander, the technician said, we are receiving a direct message. Play it, Darius ordered. The screen flickered, and, for the first time, an image appeared.
It was not a ship.
Not a weapon. It was a structure. Massive. Far larger than anything they had seen. Its size alone was overwhelming. Then the voice returned.
Calm.
Firm. Final. You entered Terran space. The words were simple, but heavy. There was a pause. Then the voice continued. You ignored the warning. The room stayed silent. You assumed strength. Darius clenched his fists. You brought war. Another pause. But Terran space does not allow war. The voice became colder. You were allowed to enter. Lauren whispered softly. Aloud. Now you will be contained. The image faded. The message ended. Darius stood still. So, this was never about defending themselves, he said. Lauren nodded. It's about control. Darius looked at the empty space around them. Then, why not destroy us immediately? Lauren answered slowly. Because they're still following rules. Darius turned. What rules? Lauren pointed at the screen. Terran rules. The technician spoke again. Commander, we detected something else. What now? Darius asked. A planet. Darius froze. A planet? Yes, the technician said. Deep inside this system, hidden but now visible. Lauren stepped closer. Humans are not just here, he said. They are watching us from their home. Darius stared at the screen. For the first time, he felt it. This was not just a warning, not just a defense. This was a message. And the message was clear. Humanity had not disappeared. They had simply chosen to remain hidden. And when the Empire crossed the line, they were finally seen. Darius spoke quietly. We were never the hunters. Lauren replied. We were the prey. And deep within Terran space, something waited, watching,
Calculating.
ready to respond if needed. The Imperial fleet was trapped. No one could escape the containment field. Every attempt to move was blocked. Every system that tried to push forward failed. The ships floated in place, like insects caught in a web. Commander Darius stood still, watching the screen. The Terran ships remained calm. No panic. No rush. Just silent control. Then, without warning, everything changed. The Terran ships began to move again. But this time, their movement was different. Not slow. Not random. Precise.
Perfect.
Commander, the technician said, they are repositioning. Why? Darius asked. I think they are preparing something. Darius stared at the screen. The smaller Terran ships moved into a new formation. They formed a wide circle around the Imperial fleet. Then a second layer appeared. Then a third. Layer by layer, the formation grew tighter, stronger, more controlled. Lauren stepped closer. "They are not just attacking," he said.
They are organizing.
Darius didn't reply, because now he could feel it too. Suddenly, all Terran ships stopped moving. Complete silence returned. Then, a signal appeared. "Commander," the technician said, "another message." "Play it," Darius ordered. The voice returned.
Calm, but different this time.
Resistance detected. Darius clenched his fists. Defense escalation. The voice paused. Second phase initiated. The screen flickered.
Then the image changed.
A new type of Terran ship appeared. These were not like the first ones. They were larger, stronger, heavily built. Their surfaces looked reinforced, like armor. "Those weren't here before," someone said. "No," Lauren replied. "They were waiting." The ships moved forward.
Slowly.
But with purpose. "Target them," Darius ordered. The fleet responded immediately. Weapons locked onto the new ships. Energy charged. Fire. A massive attack filled the space. Hundreds of beams, missiles, and blasts hit the Terran ships. But this time, something changed. The Terran ships reacted. A shield appeared. Not visible at first. But when the Imperial weapons hit, it revealed itself. A glowing barrier surrounded the ships. The attack struck it.
And stopped.
The energy did not pass through. It did not explode. It did not break. It was absorbed. "What is that?" someone shouted. "Energy absorption field," Lauren said. Darius stared. "They are not blocking the attacks, they are taking them in." The shields began to glow brighter.
Stronger.
"They're using our energy against us," the technician said. Darius's eyes widened. "Stop firing." But it was too late. The Terran ships released the stored energy. In a single moment, the Imperial fleet was hit with its own attack. Not all at once. Not randomly. But perfectly calculated. Each ship was struck by a precise return of energy. Shields failed. Systems overloaded. Ships shook violently. "Commander," the technician shouted. "Our own weapons are being used against us." Darius held onto the console. "This is impossible." Ships began to break apart. Not destroyed instantly, but damaged. System by system. The Terran attack was controlled, measured,
strategic.
They were not trying to destroy everything at once. They were breaking the fleet. Slowly. Fall back. Darius ordered. Reposition. Spread out. But the containment field reacted immediately. As soon as the fleet tried to spread, the field tightened. "No movement allowed," the technician said. Darius realized the truth. They were not just trapped. They were being guided into destruction. Another wave of Terran ships fired. This time, the attacks were different. Smaller. More precise. They targeted specific systems. Engines failed. Weapons shut down. Communication lines broke. One by one, Imperial ships became useless. "They are disabling us," Lauren said. "Yes," Darius replied. "Not killing us," Lauren continued. Darius finished the thought. Yet, the remaining Imperial ships tried to respond. But now, they had no weapons. No shields. No control. They were floating targets. Darius looked at the screen. At the shrinking fleet. At the unstoppable Terran formation. And for the first time, he saw the truth clearly. This was not a battle. It was a demonstration. A message. A warning. The Terrans were showing what they could do, without even trying their full strength. Lauren spoke softly. "They haven't used everything." Darius nodded slowly. "I know." The main screen flickered again. Another message appeared. Final warning. The voice was colder now. "Withdraw." Silence filled the room. Remain. A pause. Face total elimination. The message ended. The Terran ships stopped firing. Everything went quiet again. The Imperial fleet floated, broken, silent. Half of it was already gone. Darius looked around. At the damage. At the fear. At the reality. The Empire had entered Terran space. And now, it was being given a choice. Retreat. Or be erased completely. Darius stood still. For the first time, the strongest commander in the Empire, did not know what to do. The Imperial fleet was falling apart. Systems were failing one after another. Some ships could still move slightly, but most were already useless. Power was low, weapons were gone, shields were broken, communication was unstable, and the Terran ships were still in control. Commander Darius stood in silence. His mind was racing, but his body stayed still. Around him, the crew worked fast, trying to fix systems, trying to find a way out. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. There was no escape. "Commander," the technician said, "we are losing ships every minute." Darius didn't respond immediately. He was staring at the screen. Another ship disappeared. Then another. "Status," he asked finally. "Less than 40% of the fleet remains," the technician replied. Darius closed his eyes for a second. More than half gone. Without a proper fight. Lauren stepped closer. "We need to act now," he said. "If we wait any longer, there will be nothing left." Darius looked at him. "Act how?" he asked. Lauren hesitated. "We try to negotiate." Darius gave a short, cold laugh. "Negotiate," he repeated. "With them?" Lauren said firmly. "Yes." Darius shook his head. "We attacked first," he said. "We ignored their warning. We entered their space with force." Lauren didn't back down. "And now we are losing," he replied. "If we do nothing, we will be destroyed completely." A loud alert interrupted them. "Commander," the technician shouted. "We have a new signal." "What kind?" Darius asked quickly. "It's different, stronger, and it's coming from the Terran ships." Darius stepped forward. "Play it." The screen changed. The voice returned. But this time, it was more direct. "You are running out of time." The words were clear, sharp, unavoidable. "Commander," the voice continued, "your fleet is failing." Darius clenched his fists. "Your systems are breaking." The screen showed the truth. Ship after ship shutting down. "Your weapons are useless." That was already clear. "Your escape routes are closed." Darius looked at the navigation screen. The technician nodded silently. It was true. "Your numbers are reduced." Another ship vanished. "And your confidence is gone." Silence filled the room. Darius looked around. The crew, the broken systems, the empty space where ships used to be. The voice continued. "This is your final opportunity." Everyone listened closely. "Withdraw." A pause. Or be removed. The message ended. No one spoke. Darius stared at the screen. His mind was heavy. "Commander," Lauren said quietly, "this is our chance." Darius didn't answer. "If we leave now," Lauren continued, "we can save what is left." Darius slowly turned toward him. "And admit defeat," he said. Lauren didn't hesitate. "Yes." The word hung in the air. Darius walked a few steps forward. He looked at the battlefield. The Terran ships. The massive structures. The containment field. Everything was still under control. "They want us to run," Darius said. Lauren nodded. "They are giving us a way out." Darius frowned. "Why?" Lauren thought for a moment. "Because they don't want to destroy everything." Darius looked at him. "Then why attack us like this?" Lauren replied slowly. "To show us the truth." Another ship vanished. The room remained silent. Darius took a deep breath. "Even if we retreat," he said, "what happens next?" Lauren answered honestly. "We report the truth." "And what is the truth?" Darius asked. Lauren looked at the screen. "That we were not strong enough." Darius stayed silent. Another alert appeared. "Commander," the technician said, "we are detecting increased activity from the large Terran structures." Darius turned quickly. "Explain." "They are preparing for a final phase," the technician said. "Final phase." Lauren repeated. "Yes," the technician said. "Something bigger is coming." Darius looked at the screen. The massive structures in the distance were moving again. Slowly, deliberately. Something about it felt different. He spoke in a low voice. "They haven't used everything yet." Lauren nodded. "No," he said. "Not even close." A cold feeling spread across the bridge. If this was not their full strength, then what was? Darius stood still. For the first time, He felt completely outmatched. Not by numbers, not by weapons, but by something far beyond them. The Empire had always believed it was the strongest.
But now,
It was facing something that did not need to prove strength, because it already had it. And the worst part, they were still being allowed to choose retreat or destruction. Darius looked at the remaining fleet. Broken, scattered,
weak.
his voice came out slowly. We are not fighting anymore. Lauren looked at him. We are surviving. And somewhere in the darkness of Terran space, something waited for their decision. The Imperial fleet was silent. Not because there was no activity, but because there was no hope left. The system still worked in some ships, but every crew member knew the truth. The fight was over. Commander Darius stood on the command deck, staring at the main screen. Numbers were dropping. Ships were disappearing. Slowly, steadily, without mercy. Commander, the technician said, his voice quiet, we have lost another 20 ships. Darius did not react. His face was calm, but inside, everything felt heavy. Lauren stood beside him. We have to decide now, he said. We either leave, or we lose everything. Darius looked at the screen. The Terran ships were still there.
Silent. Perfect.
Unmoving. And if we leave, Darius said slowly, what does that mean for the Empire? Lauren didn't answer right away. Then he said, it means we live to face the truth. Darius turned slightly. The Emperor will not accept this, he said. No, Lauren replied. He will not. Another ship vanished. The silence that followed felt heavier than any explosion. Then suddenly, a new signal appeared. Commander, the technician said, we are receiving another message. Darius narrowed his eyes. Play it. The screen lit up. The voice returned. But this time it was different. Not a warning. Not a threat. A final message. You entered Terran space. Darius listened carefully. You ignored the boundary. The words were calm, but firm. You attacked. A pause. And you failed. The crew stood completely still. Now you will understand. The message ended. No one spoke. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire Terran formation began to move. Not toward them, but around them. The circle tightened. The containment field became stronger. What is happening? Someone asked. They are closing the system, Lauren said. Darius nodded slowly. Yes, this is the end phase. The massive structures in the distance began to glow.
Slowly.
One by one. Commander, the technician shouted, energy levels are rising rapidly. How much? Darius asked. Beyond anything we have recorded. Darius looked at the screen. This time he understood.
This was not an attack.
This was judgment. Lock all systems, Darius ordered. But Commander, the technician said, we can't stop it. Lock them anyway. The crew worked quickly, even though they knew it would not matter. Outside, the Terran structures continued to charge. The energy built up.
Slow.
Steady. Unstoppable. Lauren, Darius said, what do you think happens next? Lauren looked at the screen. We are about to see what they truly are. The final phase began. A wave of energy spread from the Terran structures. But this time, it was not random. It was focused. Controlled. The wave moved through the Imperial fleet. Ships that were still active went dark. One by one. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just shut down. All ships are going offline, the technician shouted. What does that mean? Someone asked. Darius answered quietly. They are turning us off. The remaining ships stopped moving. No power. No signals. No response. The fleet was completely still. Like a model. Like something frozen in time. The Terran ships stayed in position. Watching. Waiting. Then, the voice returned one last time. Judgment complete. The words echoed through every ship. Threat neutralized. Silence followed. The containment field slowly faded. But the fleet did not move. They were not destroyed. But they were completely powerless. Darius looked around the bridge. At his crew. At his broken fleet. We are still alive, someone said quietly. Yes, Darius replied. Why? The technician asked. Darius looked at the screen. The Terran ships were already moving away. They didn't destroy us, he said slowly. Lauren finished the thought. Because they wanted us to remember. Darius nodded. This is not a warning, he said. No, Lauren replied. This is a lesson. The Empire had entered Terran space. It had ignored the rules. It had fought. And now, it had been judged. Darius stood still. For the first time, he understood something very important. Power was not about winning battles. It was about knowing when not to fight. The Terrans had shown that clearly, and the Empire had learned it the hard way. Far in the distance, the Terran presence remained, watching,
Silent.
unchallenged, because everyone now knew one simple truth.
Terran space was not just forbidden.
It was protected, and anyone who forgot that would face the same fate. Darius looked one last time at the empty battlefield. Then he spoke softly. We lost. And this time, no one argued. The Imperial fleet drifted in silence. After the Terran signal ended, nothing changed at first. The ships were still disabled. Power was still down. But slowly, systems began to wake again. Not fully. Just enough to survive. Commander Darius stood on the bridge, watching as lights flickered back to life.
Status, he said.
The technician checked the console carefully. Partial systems restored, he replied. Movement is possible, but limited. Lauren exhaled. They're letting us go, he said. Darius did not respond immediately. His eyes were fixed on the empty space ahead. The Terran fleet was gone. The massive structures had stopped glowing. Everything was quiet again, as if nothing had ever happened. Commander, the technician said, we have received no further signals. Darius nodded slowly. That means, he said, the judgment is complete. No one spoke after that. The fleet began to move. Slowly, carefully, not like a proud army, but like something that had been broken. As the Imperial ships turned away from Terran space, something strange happened. The space behind them did not feel empty. Lauren looked at the rear scanners. Commander, he said quietly. Darius turned. What is it? There is no pursuit. Darius stared at the screen. No chase. No attack. Just silence. They are not following us, Lauren said. Darius nodded. I know. Then why do I feel like we are still being watched? Lauren asked. Darius didn't answer right away. He knew the feeling. Because even though the Terran ships were gone, their presence was not. Keep course, Darius ordered. The fleet continued to move, slowly exiting the forbidden region. Minutes passed, then hours. No one spoke. Every crew member stayed alert, waiting for something that never came. Finally, one of the junior officers spoke. Commander, we made it. Darius closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again. Yes, he said. We survived. But his voice did not sound happy. It sounded tired. Survived, Lauren repeated quietly. Darius looked at him. But at what cost? Lauren did not answer. Because the answer was clear. The Empire had lost ships, lost power, lost pride. But most importantly, it had lost certainty. They were no longer sure if they were the strongest, or even close to it. The fleet continued forward, leaving Terran space behind. And with every kilometer, the fear remained. On the main screen, a map showed the border. The forbidden line. The place where everything had changed. Darius stared at it. That line, he said slowly, was not just a border. Lauren nodded.
No, he said.
It was a warning. And we crossed it. Yes. Darius took a deep breath. Never again, he said. Lauren looked at him. Do you think the Emperor will agree? Darius gave a small, tired smile. The Emperor will have no choice. The fleet finally exited the danger zone. As soon as they did, communication systems started to recover fully. Long-range signals returned. And, immediately, messages began to flood in. From the Empire. From command centers. From higher authorities. All asking the same thing. What happened? Darius stared at the messages. He knew this moment was coming. Soon, the truth would spread. And the Empire would learn what really happened in Terran space. But Darius also knew something else. Not everyone would believe it.
Some would call it a mistake.
Some would call it weakness. And some
Would call it a lie.
But the ones who were there would never forget. The bridge stayed quiet as the fleet moved home. No one celebrated. No one cheered. Because, even though they were alive, they had seen something that changed everything. Lauren looked at Darius. "What now?" he asked. Darius stared ahead. "We go back. And tell them the truth." Lauren nodded. "And if they don't believe us?" Darius's voice was calm. "Then they will learn it the same way we did." The fleet continued its long journey home. Behind them, Terran space remained untouched,
Silent.
protected, and forever forbidden.
But now,
The Empire would never look at it the same way again. Because once you've faced something that can stop you without effort, you never forget it. And more importantly, you never underestimate it again. The Imperial fleet finally returned home. But it did not return as heroes. It returned as survivors. The ships entered the main space dock slowly. Damage reports were sent in. Repair teams rushed to every ship. But something was different this time. There were no celebrations. No cheers. Only silence. Commander Darius stood at the central command hall. The place was full of high-ranking officers, advisors, and officials. Everyone was waiting for answers. Darius stepped forward. The room became quiet. "What happened out there?" one official asked. Darius looked at them.
his voice was calm.
But heavy. "We entered Terran space," he said. A few officers exchanged confused looks. "We engaged an unknown force," Darius continued. "Unknown," another official interrupted. "Explain clearly." Darius paused for a moment. Then he spoke the truth. "We were not ready." The room grew tense. "Our fleet was superior in numbers," Darius said, "but not in power." He looked at the crowd. "The Terrans did not fight like us." "Then how did they fight?" someone asked. Darius answered. "They did not need to." Silence spread across the room. "They shut down our ships," he continued. "They controlled the battlefield without destroying us." "That is impossible," an officer said. Darius shook his head. "It happened." He pointed to the data reports. "Our weapons failed. Our shields failed. Our systems failed. And we were allowed to leave." That last part made everyone quiet. "Allowed," an official repeated. "Yes," Darius said. The room was still. "They did not destroy us," he said, "even though they could have." Some officers began to whisper. "This is unacceptable. This cannot be true. This sounds like fear." Darius listened to all of it. Then he spoke again. "You may choose not to believe me," he said, "but I was there." His voice grew firmer. "And I saw what we were dealing with." Lauren stepped forward. "I was there too," he said. The room turned to him. "This is not a normal enemy," Lauren continued. "They are not interested in proving strength. They already have it." The officials fell silent again. One of them finally asked the question everyone was thinking. "Are you saying we cannot defeat them?" Darius did not answer immediately. He looked at the room, at the faces of leaders, at the people who believed the Empire was unstoppable. Then he said it. Not in a direct fight. The room erupted into chaos. "This is defeatist. We must respond. We cannot accept this." Darius raised his voice. "Listen." The room went silent again. "You are not hearing me," he said. "We did not lose because we were weak. We lost because we were arrogant." That word, arrogant, cut through the room. "We ignored warnings," Darius continued. "We entered their space without understanding. We believed we were superior."
He paused.
"And we were wrong." The room stayed quiet. No one interrupted this time. Darius took a deep breath. "If we return," he said, "we must not repeat this mistake. And if we ignore this lesson," he added, "then next time, we will not be allowed to leave." Those words hit harder than anything else. Slowly, the reality began to sink in. This was not a defeat in battle. This was a warning, a second chance. One of the senior officials finally spoke. "Then what do we do?" Darius answered without hesitation. "We observe. We learn. And we respect Terran space." The room remained silent. But this time, the silence was different. It was not disbelief. It was understanding. Because deep down, they all knew the truth now. Terran space was not a place to conquer. It was a place to avoid. And the Empire had learned that lesson, the hardest way possible. Weeks later, news spread across the Empire. Some called it a failure. Some called it a mystery. Some refused to believe it at all. But those who had seen it knew the truth. And the story spread. Of the forbidden space. Of the unknown force. Of the Empire that ignored the warning. And paid the price. And far beyond Imperial borders, Terran space remained silent. Watching. Waiting. Not as a threat, but as a reminder that some places are not meant to be conquered, and some forces are not meant to be challenged, because in the end, it was never about power. It was about understanding, and the Empire had finally learned the difference.